Just trash, baby. My name is Mitchell Renz. Y'all are watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, Overreaction Tuesday after the Raiders' 20-9 loss to the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football, a game where we had the opportunity to be the only undefeated team in the AFC West, and not only did we let it slip through our fingers, we literally threw it away, and then we threw it away again, and then we threw another interception to the Chargers to give them the opportunities. I mean, here's the how this one goes. You're not going to beat a good football team, and I hate the Chargers. Give me an FLAC down below. But you're not going to beat a playoff caliber football team with a good head coach in Jim Harbaugh making the amount of mistakes that you have made. It's just simply not going to happen. So coming up here on today's show, I'm going to talk about the top 3 trending topics around Raider Nation after this heartbreaking flipping game. But you know what? I do know this. I felt this way this morning. I feel this way right after the Raiders game. I'm not necessarily mad. I'm a little bit mad. I'm just really disappointed in that football game. I expected more. Allegiant Stadium was rocking. Raider Nation was electric on our watch party. But you know what? If you're a Raiders fan and you go, I still love this football team. I still believe in this football team. I believe in Pete Carroll, and it doesn't matter. Win, lose, or tie, Raider Nation till I die. If you feel that way, hit that subscribe button. If you don't feel that way, you can go somewhere else. That's how I feel. Let's go to, though, the biggest topic that is going to be around the Raiders today, and it's going to be around the Raiders all week long. And let's face it, Geno needs a bounce-back game week 3 against the Commanders, but the amount of people that I heard on my live stream, the amount of people that I see right now doing victory laps around Geno Smith being a trash quarterback, I'll say it like this. This is the biggest overreaction that is possibly out there for the nation, because you got a quarterback that played a really solid game week 1 where they were able to stretch the football down the field. And then tip your cap to Jim Harbaugh. Tip your cap to Minter, because what good coaching staffs do and what good teams do is they prepare you and they try to take away what you're really good at. And the Chargers took that away from Geno Smith. I mean, Geno last week had 9 completions of over 20 yards. Today, Geno Smith against the Chargers was 0 for 11 with 0 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions on balls more than 10 yards. They were playing cover 2. They said, all right, if you're not going to dink it and dunk it, we're going to take away this game. I know you're not going to run the football. I know I'm not afraid of you. Now, is all of this to blame on Geno Smith? No, absolutely not. I think, honestly, Chip Kelly deserves a lot of blame. But when you look at these numbers here, they're hard to look at. The number one reason why the Raiders lost this game was because of Geno Smith. But that doesn't mean that he's a trash quarterback. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be the reason why we either go to the playoffs, or he might be the reason we don't go, because if you play like that, you ain't going to the playoffs. I guarantee that. I am somebody, though, I'll say it with my chest here, I believe in Geno Smith. And if you want to come find me at Mitchell Renz 365, or I'm going to be here on the Raiders Report, I ain't hiding from anybody. So this is going to be the pinned comment here on today's program, and I want to know where you stand. And if you're a Raiders Report watcher, I don't care if a question's easy. I don't care if a question's difficult. I expect you to answer it, because if I ask you a question in real life, I expect you to answer that question. Believe it, baby, or trash. Do you believe in Geno Smith? Let me know after this YouTube ad break. I believe in Geno Smith because there was a part of me that, this is just how the Raiders offseason goes. As a Raiders fan, you fire yourself up to get ready for that regular season. But there was a small part of me that did wonder, could this offense struggle? You got a brand new quarterback. You got a brand new head coach. You got a brand new offensive coordinator. And you have all of these pieces around him. And let's face it, the Chargers took away the deep ball down the field. And that is the big reason why this game is what it is. I mean, look at this passing chart here from Geno. They tried to take shots down the field. It really wasn't happening. And I really want to go back, and I'm going to have to watch the All-22 film on this to see what the separation looked like for the wide receivers, because there were some times I watched it, And you're like, I don't think anybody was open there because Geno was running for his life. And I know that Geno can be a good quarterback, but I also know this. If you don't protect him, he's going to struggle, just like any quarterback under the sun. And you know what? I know I wasn't the only one that saw some of these struggles. I mean, even Pete Carroll, when he was asked tonight after the game, he said, I thought we were impatient with the throwing game. We didn't get the ball thrown underneath. When we threw interceptions, it was Geno trying to make a play out of nothing. It was him trying to stretch the ball down the field. Now, I don't know if that's just a Geno fault. I don't know if that's on Chip Kelly, but I saw that the Chargers were saying, here you go, take it. And you said, no, thank you. I'm just going to keep going for touchdowns. I'm going to keep throwing the football down the field. We didn't deserve to win this game, but I still come away being like, first game, I love what I saw from Geno. Second game, did not like what I saw at all. We're about to learn a lot about the quarterback that we got week 3 against the Washington Commanders on the road in Washington. Let's go to the next story here on the Raiders Report. Overreaction Tuesday. The Raiders are not using running back Ashton Jeanty correctly. I'm going to tell you whether or not this is an overreaction or believe it, baby. Before I do, though, today's show sponsor, Prize Picks. And even though my lineup did not win, I still had a lot of fun watching the game, and it's the reason why it's the #1 fantasy app out there. Let's face it, you and I, we make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you could still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right, and even though I was not right, quite frankly, I wasn't even close to being right. But to me, I love getting a good Prize Picks lineup in because if I know I'm sitting around watching a football game, you get a few extra dollars on it, and you got to, you have the more or lesses. You have something to root for, even in a game if you're not a Raiders or Chargers fan. Obviously, we were rooting for the more with anything Raiders related. But at the end of the day, I have fun playing Prize Picks. I'm going to keep on playing Prize Picks. Win, lose, or tie, Prize Picks till I die. Let's go to the next one coming up here. The Raiders aren't using Jeanty right. This is for just win, babies. Believe it, baby. I was screaming from the rooftop when the Raiders hired Chip Kelly, and I was pretty disappointed in what I saw from Chip tonight. And the reason why I don't think that they're using him right is, first off, not nearly enough run plays. I get that we want to throw the football down the field, but Geno Smith in his career, when he throws the ball 43 times or more, he's 2-8. Now, you can look at that as being like, oh, we shouldn't throw the ball a lot with Geno. You could also look at it as when you're trailing a lot, you're going to throw the football a little bit more. My point is, Chip Kelly's offense is best when it's balanced. Most NFL teams are best when it's balanced. An offensive line that's struggling is best when it is balanced. Jeanty tonight had 11 carries, 43 yards. Again, 3.9 yards per carry, 0 rushing touchdowns. I was also, though, hoping that they would run through the air a little bit more. Jeanty had 3 targets. He had 3 catches, 8 yards, not a lot of running room. Some missed opportunities, quite frankly, by this Raiders team. But to me, you're clearly not using Jeanty in the correct way. Not only are there not enough runs, but there were times where I felt like Jeanty kind of got the ball going a little bit, and you killed his momentum. The #1 play sequence that I'm thinking about is, it was like right in the second quarter, and Jeanty gets the ball. He gains 6 yards. Like, all right, that was a good run. Next carry he gets 10 yards. 2 carries, 16 yards. Like, to me, he's a shooter that just saw 2 3-pointers go in. And then you're going to pull him out of the game because then you put in Zamir White. And Zeus, the next play, ended up getting like 9 yards. But where I really am struggling here is, I don't think the Raiders trust him. And my biggest fear when you took a running back at number 6 overall without addressing your offensive line is, you better make sure that that running back does everything in his power to be successful because you passed on an offensive lineman. So, to me, though, there were a few times tonight, like that sequence of plays that I was just talking about. 3rd down and 2, pistol formation. Chargers are showing that they're about to blitz you, and instead of having Ashton Jeanty in on 3rd down and 2, you put Zamir White in on 3rd down and 2, and you ran it to the side that they were blitzing to. Believe it or not, you didn't get it. Then, you bring in Dylan Laube to catch the football, which credit to Laube. I thought he looked pretty damn good tonight catching the football. But, I don't understand how you are a Raiders team that drafts Ashton Jeanty at number 6 overall, but you're not going to use him correctly. I liked what I saw from him last week in terms of pass protection. You didn't really give him too many opportunities tonight to do that. He wasn't on the field all that often. There are times where he is waiting a little bit too long to hit that hole, and we're going to talk about how to potentially fix that. But I'll tell you this right now. I am concerned about the way that Chip Kelly is coaching this offense because I think that the Raiders did some very questionable things on the offensive side of the football, but they're not giving him enough runs. They killed his momentum tonight when he finally got it going, and they clearly don't trust him in big-time situations. Hell, even you can go back to the 3rd and 1 quarterback keepers with Geno Smith. I know it worked, and it worked out in the right way, but when you draft a running back at number 6 overall and you're not using him correctly, it's concerning for me. It's concerning for the nation. But let's get one thing straight here. Can Ashton Jeanty be better? Abso-flippin'-lutely. Is Geno Smith trash? No. Is Ashton Jeanty trash? No. And if you keep saying it on this channel, I'm probably just going to end up blocking you. So be honest with me here. What is your confidence level in Ashton Jeanty? And I want you to scale this on a 1 to 10 basis. 1, you're not confident at all in Jeanty. When he touches the football, you are hitting the panic button honestly, like Zamir White and Dylan Laube last season. Or 10, he's the running back that you expected him to be when they drafted him at number 6 overall. My answer coming up here after this YouTube ad break. I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to go, my confidence level in Jeanty right now is a 6. And it's not a good 6, It's not a sexy 6. It is a 6 because it's kind of where we're at. We drafted him at number 6. I still want to be able to show that I have confidence in him because to me, the peak of this Raiders offense is getting that running game going because nobody thinks that you're going to run the football. And it's almost like teams are doing the exact opposite on us this year compared to when we had Jimmy Garoppolo, these past offenses with Aiden O'Connell. In years past, they'd stack the box with 8. And they would dare you to throw it down the field. Now, they're just putting guys in the backfield because they know their 4 is going to be able to beat our 5 in the trenches. And instead of running the football, we just keep trying to throw the football down the field. I mean, it's literally like the complete yin and yang compared to the way that teams played us now. 4 or 5 guys in the box. Run the football, figure it out. If you don't have the right offensive line, put somebody else in at center, put somebody else in on the offensive line. We're going to get into our more Overreaction Tuesdays here in a second, but I do want to give a huge shout out to Alex McGuire. He was a massive, massive legend on our show. Technically, I'm looking at it now, Alex. I owe you actually a gong rip, so, huge shout out to him. 5 banks tonight. We were putting candles on Pete Carroll's cake. Obviously, I was hoping that we were going to be able to eat that cake after a big old win. But to me, one thing that I always want to be able to do here, real, recognize real. When you guys show up and you do the shit that you do on a game day, people are going to remember you for it. And you might think I'm crazy, but I can remember the day that I went to the Raiders game with David Zahn at Raiders practice. The amount of people that recognized Zahn was really one of the most humbling things because I expect you guys to recognize me to a certain degree. You see me and you got to listen to my freaking ass all the time. But you don't see and hear each other. And when you recognize each other, it's how I know this is way more than just a YouTube channel. It's a beautiful community. So if you're on this top 10 list, you're helping this show go. And from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. I respect you. It's the definition of a real one. You don't have to send in super chats to be a real one. If you show up on a watch party, that's a real one. If you hit that like button, if you comment, you share, you help this show grow, that is the definition of a real one. But I'm also going to sit up here and tell y'all, the people that super chat, the people that do a lot of the Venmos, of course, it helps out a lot here. Now, if you don't already follow me on social media, this is going to be a good week to do it. I'm telling you this right now. A lot of spice, which my wife's probably going to laugh at me because I can't handle the spice that her and her family like to bring. But if you haven't already, give me a follow on social media. I'm Matt Mitchell, Renz365. If you can't handle spicy, don't follow me. Don't watch the show this week because I'm going to be bringing a lot of spice. Coming up next here, my final Overreaction Tuesday topic. And we talked about Geno Smith. We talked about Ashton Jeanty. I'm going to be honest. I'm not even going to talk about the defense. We'll talk about them a little bit tomorrow when I go live 4 p.m. Eastern time, because there's going to be some players that are on that losers list, no doubt about it. But the defense kept us in this game. The defense never gave up, and they don't deserve to be on an Overreaction Tuesday game after we lost 20-9. Are changes needed on the Raiders' offensive line? Abso-flippin-lutely. For just win, babies. Believe it, baby. I do know that offensive line takes time to gel. I know that offensive lines take time to kind of create that chemistry. But I've already seen enough. And I don't want to go down the path of, oh, well, Mitch, it's just 2 games with Josh McDaniels. Give him time. Just watch the game. Josh McDaniels never going to be a good head coach. Oh, Mitch, it's just 2 games with Luke Getsy. Give him time. It's 2 games with Luke Getsy. I know he's just never going to be a good coordinator. I'm looking at this Raiders offensive line right now, and if it's Colt Miller, Dylan Parham, Jordan Meredith, right, JP didn't play today, Alex Kappa, DJ Glaze, we're going to struggle. And it's just the bottom line. Like, to me, Jackson Powers-Johnson's got to be the center. And I know he didn't play tonight with a concussion. I don't know who's on the Raiders medical staff. Let's get a helmet on that guy, like the big bulky one. I don't care if it looks nerdy. I don't care what it looks like. He's just too physical, and I'm worried that we're about to piss away a really good young offensive lineman, because to me, what's missing from our offensive line is that physicality. And I think Jeanty is used to seeing big running lanes out of Boise, and right now he's got nowhere to go. He's sitting back there too long, and he's waiting for the hole to develop. It's not going to develop, because you got Dylan Parham and Jordan Meredith on one side, and you got Alex Kappa and DJ Glaze on the other side. Teams aren't dumb. They're literally taking away the left side of the run because they know you want to run behind Colt Miller. They're forcing you to the run to the right side, and then it's easier to figure out where you're going. I mean, right now, this Raiders offense, especially the game that we saw tonight against the Chargers, it was too predictable. And it was so predictable, and it was so frustrating because they didn't do anything. The Raiders defense made second half adjustments. Our offense, though, has not made the proper adjustments. And, I think another play that I don't know how often it gets talked about, but Jordan Meredith. Like, I get that the Raiders like him up here. But you know what I like? A guy that's able to do his job well. And maybe we just got to put Meredith at guard. But to me, he's snapping the ball. And I don't know how many Raider fans will remember this, but do y'all remember when Andre James first started playing center? It took him a few years, I get it, but when he would snap the ball, it was like a changeup. Right? It's a changeup, and it was off target. Meredith is throwing off-target changeups where Geno's reaching for the ball left and right. But the biggest play, or one of the biggest plays in that game, was the score's 10-3. Raiders are marching down the field. It's 3rd down and whatever at this time. And Meredith frickin' snaps the ball, hits himself in the gooch. Geno's got to try to scoop it up and do the most with it. Like, I think the Meredith experiment is an experiment. But if you honestly can look me in the eyes, Pete, and if you can honestly look your son in the eyes, Brennan, and you guys can look at me and say, our offensive line is better with Jordan Meredith at center than Jackson Powers-Johnson, I think you need to look at yourself in the mirror again. Let's go to the final story here on the Raiders Report. And you know what? We're giving you a bonus one because the nation showed up and showed out in person at Allegiant Stadium, and they showed up and showed out here on the Raiders Report. We're probably going to have close to 300,000 people tune in. Tonight's show was absolutely bananas, and it happened at literally midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm filming this video right now at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why? Commitment to excellence, and the nation deserves better. But is the AFC up for grabs? You freaking bet your bottom dollar. For just win, babies. Believe it, baby. I know the Chargers are 2-0, and the Raiders and Broncos are tied. To me, though, the Chargers tried to charger in that Monday night game. They tried to give it up to the Raiders. They turned it over on 4th down and 1, fumbled on their own side. Bad fumble by Najee Harris, Omarion Hampton, punched out by Max Crosby. The Chargers will charger. What do I mean by that? I think they will choke. And if this just would not have been one of the worst games I've ever seen from Geno, tied a career high 3 interceptions, son, he's done that 5 times in his career. I think the Raiders win that game if you don't have just the worst game I've seen from Geno in a long time. The Broncos, I don't think Bo Nix is any good. That defense also kind of got ripped apart a little bit by the Indianapolis Colts, and That's a team that they've had some mental blunders from a coaching perspective. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who I have not seen them be this vulnerable, this beatable in a very long time. 0-2. The last time they were 0-2, 2014, when they missed the playoffs. I do really think that any one of these teams can win the AFC West. And I know that this past game was a really, really bad game. But I also want you to think about this. The Raiders beat the Patriots on the road in a game where they didn't play very well, but they found a way to win. Raiders on Monday Night Football was one of the worst games I've seen the Raiders play in a long time from the offensive side of the football. And honestly, we were still kind of in that game in the fourth quarter. My point is, when you have new coaching staffs, when you bring in new coordinators, when you bring in a bunch of new players, there's going to be some growing pains. And tonight was a big old growing pain in the ass, man. And maybe there's some Charger fans that love a good growing pain in their ass. Me as a Raider fan, I don't love that type of pain. So I'm hoping that we're able to bounce back. I think this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve. And I think that if we keep on stacking the positives, because this team didn't quit. And I've seen a lot of past Raiders teams that would have quit. This team kept on fighting. They kept going out there, and I think that the AFC West is absolutely positively up for grabs. So I know I started this show off by saying just trash, baby. And I started this show off by saying that because I know there's going to be a lot of people that think that I'm going to sit up here and rip apart Geno, Pete Carroll. It was a tough game. My nuts are black and blue. They're swollen. Quite frankly, they probably need to be rubbed by somebody. But I still believe in Geno. I still believe in Pete Carroll. And I still believe in this football team. And now we got to bounce back on Sunday against the Commanders team that might be without Jaden Daniels. Appreciate each and every one of y'all that pulled up today. If you're not already subscribed, I'm going to be live later on today, 4 p.m. Eastern time, live on Thursday, which right now I kind of wish it was Thursday because we could silver and black out and forget about what the hell we just watched on Monday night. It's going to be Reed and I here. Bottom line, if you love the Raiders and if you're still rocking with the Raiders, win, lose, or tie, Raider Nation until I die, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys later on, 4 p.m. Eastern time here on the Raiders Report.